As a father to a 3-week-old, I feel as though I'm in a pretty good position now to share some of my main lessons learned. Now, this is my second child, so I went through one labour 3 years ago, and now having just gone through another. There's some things that surprised me based on my experience from the first one. Now going into the second. First labour progressed very, very gradually, got more and more intense, very, very gradually, and it built up and built up and built up. And eventually it went pretty much to plan, to textbook plan. Contractions got bigger, um, dilation got bigger, and it all just kept progressing and going the direction that it should have gone without going too quick or too slow. This one, however, um, went very, very, very slow for about the first 11 hours. And all of a sudden, mum just started getting these contractions, big, hard, regular contractions. And the baby was born 2 hours later. So I had this expectation, having the first one, I've gone for this sort of smooth build up throughout across the 13 hours, whatever it was. Um, Whereas this one, the most recent one, was completely different in that it was very, very slow to get going. And then for the last 2 hours, it was like, wow, like really, really quick, really, really intense. Number two, hospital staff are stunning. They do a great job. They are very, 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 very focused on baby and mum right in this moment. Okay. They're looking at the exact signs right now. What's happening with baby? What's happening with mum? They do not really care, or in my view, they do not really care exactly what dad's doing at the moment. And they maybe don't have great expectations of dad in terms of being able to help with the labour. So they don't really give an awful lot of information. And very often in labour, I was like overhearing conversations that were happening across the little desk where they were writing their notes down. I'd be like, "Hey, what was that you just mentioned there?" And then they would come back and tell me, I'd be like, "Oh, right. So if now that I understand that, I can sort of help mum with that a little bit." So my point would be that don't be afraid to reach out to the midwives or any other medical professionals in the room and be like, and pull on that information and be like, right, can you let me know where we are with things, just so that I can support mum and I can sort of understand where we are with mum, especially if you're using your NCT on a page guide, because then you'll be able to take the information that the midwives are giving you, kind of understand where we are with the labour, and then be able to support mum accordingly. Uh, and the final thing, a bit similar to number two, is that 3 weeks ago, baby was born, and the doctors turned around to us for a mild medical reason, but still one that needed monitoring for 3 days. The doctors turned around to us after the baby's born, and I'd been expecting that mum and the baby would be able to come home with me that day or a bit later that day. Doctor turned around and said, "Mum and baby have to stay in hospital for 3 days. You are only allowed to visit for 1 hour per day, and the rest of the time you need to stay at home." And that was a bit of a shock. So, and I just feel as though if I'd had a bit of a heads up that that could have been coming, fundamentally the doctors could have told us in advance if we know if they thought to. A bit of a heads up that could have allowed me to get my head into the right space for what was going to come. So I think going forward next time, therefore, I'd be asking a few more questions about what are the chances that mum and baby maybe need to be staying in the hospital afterwards, if there are some medical reasons that could need to happen. It'd be nice to know that in advance rather than caught out after 24 hours awake. Just cut the cord of your new son and make sure mum's comfortable, and then you're told to go home. You've been watching Diligent Dad. I'm Andrew. I hope it's been super useful. Hit subscribe and the bell icon. You'll be notified when I'm dropping new videos twice a week. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you again soon.